Several Democratic lawmakers are now calling for President Trump to be impeached and removed. Sources also tell ABC News members of the Trump cabinet have discussed invoking the 25th Amendment to remove the president from office. President Trump is in the White House this morning, reportedly becoming increasingly isolated as some staffers abandon him.
This is absolutely devastating for Donald Trump, because what just surfaced through leaked cabinet communications isn't just another scandal. It isn't just another controversy that Trump can spin or dismiss or distract from. This is his own vice president, the man he personally selected to be his number two, quietly building a coalition inside Trump's cabinet to remove him from office using the 25th Amendment. And according to these leaked communications, Vance has already secured enough signatures to make it happen at any moment. Trump could be stripped of presidential power and Vance could be sworn in as acting president before Trump even knows what hit him. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, please subscribe, because you might think you are but aren't. Your subscription actually matters here. That's why we built John Brown's show, to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. So leaked cabinet communications revealed something absolutely explosive. Vance has been holding secret meetings with Trump's cabinet members. Not public meetings, not announced gatherings, secret discussions behind closed doors where they're talking about one thing: whether Donald Trump is fit to remain president. And based on what's in these leaks, Vance isn't just talking about it. He's actively collecting signatures, building consensus, preparing to invoke Section 4 of the 25th Amendment that allows the vice president and a majority of the cabinet to declare the president unable to discharge his duties. Share this video with everyone you know, because here's the part that should terrify Trump. Vance apparently already has the votes. According to the leaked information, he's secured signatures from 9 cabinet members. 9. You only need 8 to have a majority. That means Vance has everything he needs to pull the trigger, to walk into the Oval Office with a signed declaration and tell Trump, "You're done. We're removing you. I'm taking over." Think about what that means. Trump thought he was the most powerful person in the world, but his own vice president, someone who's supposed to be loyal, someone Trump handpicked to be his successor, that person is preparing to remove him. And Trump apparently had no idea it was happening until the communications leaked. He thought he could trust Vance, thought Vance would stay loyal no matter what. And now he's discovering that Vance has been working against him this entire time. Make sure you're subscribed to John Brown's show, because the trigger for all of this seems to be the Venezuela operation. That military raid that killed 12 civilians, that Trump authorized without congressional approval, that the UN condemned. That disaster apparently pushed Vance and the cabinet over the edge. They watched Trump authorize military action that resulted in civilian deaths, watched him defend the operation even after people died, watched him start firing people and posting in rage instead of taking responsibility, and they concluded Trump is too dangerous to remain in power. So Vance started making calls, started having quiet conversations with cabinet secretaries, started floating the idea that maybe Trump needs to be removed for everyone's safety, and apparently enough cabinet members agreed, enough people who work directly for Trump decided he's unfit, that the risks of keeping him in office outweigh any political considerations, that using the 25th Amendment isn't just an option anymore, it's a necessity. The leaked communications show Vance being methodical about this, not rushing, not making it public, quietly building the coalition needed to make removal work. Because if you're going to invoke the 25th Amendment against a sitting president, you better make sure you have the votes locked down. You can't go halfway, you can't start the process and then fail. That would be political suicide. So Vance apparently took his time, made sure he had commitments, got signatures, built an airtight case. And Trump's response reveals how blindsided he is. He went on Truth Social, calling Vance a traitor, said Vance is weak, vowed to purge the administration of disloyal elements, said his cabinet loyalists will prevail over this coup. But here's the problem with Trump's strategy. If Vance already has 9 signatures, Trump's threats are meaningless. You can't purge people after they've already signed documents removing you. You can't threaten your way out of a situation where your own government has decided you're unfit. Trump is trying to use the same playbook he always uses: attack, intimidate, make threats, rally supporters. But that doesn't work when the people moving against you have constitutional authority to remove you. That doesn't work when they've already made their decision and collected the votes. Trump is discovering that being president doesn't make you invincible, that there are mechanisms designed specifically to remove presidents who become too dangerous or unstable. And those mechanisms are about to be used against him. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, because what's remarkable is how completely Trump got blindsided. He apparently thought Vance was loyal, thought his cabinet members were under control, thought he could fire his national security advisor and purge more than 20 staffers, and that would consolidate his power. But instead of strengthening his position, those moves apparently accelerated the cabinet revolt. His firings convinced people he was unstable. His purges convinced Vance that removal was necessary. Think about what that means for how Trump has been governing. If his own cabinet thinks he's unfit, what does that say about what's happening behind closed doors? What decisions is Trump making that alarm the people closest to him? What conversations is he having that make cabinet secretaries think we need to remove this person from power? The fact that 9 of them signed on suggests Trump's behavior is worse than what the public sees. The constitutional process for this is straightforward but dramatic. Vance and the cabinet members sign a written declaration that Trump is unable to discharge his duties. That declaration gets transmitted to Congress. And the moment it's transmitted, Trump is no longer president. Vance becomes acting president immediately. No trial, no extended process, just an instant transfer of power based on the cabinet's determination. Trump can challenge the removal. He can send his own letter to Congress saying, actually, I'm fine and I should remain president. But then Congress has to vote, both chambers, and they need 2/3 majorities to keep Trump removed. If they get those majorities, Trump stays out. If they don't, he gets restored. But getting those votes in Congress is actually possible right now, given how many Republicans are turning against Trump. Share this video because the political calculation for Republicans is fascinating. Do they stand with Trump and defend him against removal? Or do they support Vance and say, we recognize the president is unfit and we're acting responsibly? Some Republicans might see removal as an opportunity, a way to get past Trump without technically betraying him. They can say we didn't impeach him. His own cabinet determined he was unfit. We just followed the constitutional process. That gives Republicans political cover. Lets them move on from Trump while claiming they were just respecting constitutional mechanisms. And for Republicans worried about midterms, about Trump dragging down the party, removal might actually be attractive. Gets Trump out of the way, puts Vance in charge, gives them a fresh start with someone more stable and traditional. The betting markets are picking up on all of this. Prediction markets now have 75% odds that the 25th Amendment gets invoked by early February. That's massive. That's saying it's more likely than not that Trump gets removed within weeks. Those aren't random guesses. Those are people putting money on outcomes based on information they're seeing. And what they're seeing apparently convinces them Trump's removal is imminent. And in this public opinion, might actually support this. Recent polling shows 65% disapproval of how Trump handled the Venezuela raid. That's 2/3 of the country saying they don't approve. That gives Vance and the cabinet political cover. They can say we're acting in accordance with public sentiment. The American people don't support what this president is doing. We're responding to that. And media coverage of all this is going to be intense. Sources are talking about members of Trump's cabinet discussing invoking the 25th Amendment. Democratic lawmakers calling for impeachment and removal. The White House becoming increasingly isolated as staffers abandon ship. Everything pointing to a president losing control of his own administration. The whole country watching to see if a president gets removed by his own cabinet for the first time in history. Think about what that means for Trump personally. He's facing impeachment pressure in Congress. He's dealing with court cases. He's watching his policies get blocked by judges. And now potential removal by his own cabinet. Every institution is moving against him simultaneously. Courts blocking his actions. Congress investigating him. His own government preparing to remove him. That's not sustainable. That's comprehensive collapse of presidential authority. Trump probably thought Vance would be loyal. Thought he could count on his vice president to have his back. But Vance apparently concluded that loyalty to the country matters more than loyalty to Trump. that protecting the nation from a dangerous president takes precedence over political allegiance. That's devastating for Trump because it means he's lost the person who's supposed to be his closest ally in government. The leaked communications show how serious this is. These aren't vague discussions about maybe someday considering the 25th Amendment. These are specific conversations where Vance has been securing signatures, getting commitments, building the coalition methodically. That level of planning suggests this is really happening, that it's not just talk, that the vice president is preparing to act. Trump's options for fighting back are limited. He can fire cabinet members, but if 9 already signed, firing them doesn't undo their signatures. He can attack Vance publicly, but that doesn't change the constitutional process. He can try to rally supporters, but public opinion is against him. He can claim this is a coup, but it's a legal constitutional mechanism designed specifically for this situation. The markets are going to react to all this uncertainty. Investors hate not knowing who's running the country, hate constitutional crises, hate the possibility of power changing hands suddenly. So we might see stock market volatility, dollar fluctuations, economic turbulence adding to the political chaos, making everything worse for everyone involved. And what happens next is critical. Does Vance actually invoke the 25th Amendment? Does Trump somehow convince cabinet members to withdraw their signatures? Does Congress get involved? We're in completely uncharted territory. No president has ever been removed this way. The process has never been tested in a real crisis like this. The historical significance is impossible to overstate. If Trump gets removed by his cabinet, that becomes the defining moment of his presidency. Not his policies, not his appointments. The fact that his own administration decided he was unfit and used constitutional authority to remove him. That's the legacy. That's what history remembers. The president who was so dangerous, his own cabinet turned on him. For Vance, this is the biggest gamble of his political career. If he invokes the 25th Amendment and succeeds, he becomes president, gets credit for standing up to Trump, potentially positions himself as the future of the Republican Party. But if it fails, if Trump survives and Vance gets removed instead, his political career is over. You don't try to remove a president and then continue working for him. It's all or nothing. Think about what this means for future presidents. If the 25th Amendment gets used successfully against Trump, that establishes precedent. Shows that cabinets can remove presidents they view as unfit. That creates a check on presidential power that hasn't existed before in practice, makes future presidents more accountable to their own administrations, changes how power works at the highest levels of government. The leaked communications suggest this has been building. Vance having conversations, gauging support, getting commitments, all while Trump apparently had no idea it was happening. That level of secrecy within an administration is remarkable. Shows how fractured Trump's government has become, how isolated he is from his own team, how little trust exists between the president and the people who work for him. Share this video because we're watching a potential transfer of power happen in real time. Not through elections, not through impeachment, through a constitutional mechanism most people barely understand. The 25th Amendment going from theoretical possibility to practical reality. And Trump caught completely off guard by his own vice president making moves against him. The fact that sources are confirming cabinet discussions about the 25th Amendment means this isn't just rumor. It's not speculation. People inside the administration are talking about it openly enough that it's leaking to media. That suggests the conversations are serious, that removal is being actively considered, that Vance has moved beyond just thinking about it to actually executing a plan, and Trump firing his national security advisor and purging staffers shows he's trying to regain control, trying to eliminate people he sees as disloyal. But those moves apparently backfired, made cabinet members more convinced he's unstable, made Vance more determined to remove him. So Trump's attempts to consolidate power actually weakened his position dramatically. Make sure you're subscribed because the coming days are going to be absolutely critical. Either Vance pulls the trigger and invokes the 25th Amendment, or Trump somehow stops it, or the whole thing becomes public and forces everyone's hand. Any of those outcomes creates massive drama. Constitutional crisis, political earthquake, historic moment. Stay tuned, because this is the story that could end Trump's presidency, not through the courts, not through Congress, but through his own cabinet deciding he's too dangerous to continue, through his own vice president collecting signatures to remove him, through a constitutional process that's never been successfully used before, but might be about to change American history. And we're going to be here covering every single development as this unfolds.